Hello, good evening. It's Petrie here with you until 1 o'clock, and coming up at midnight, the phone-in hour just for you. The whole hour, uninterrupted. Well, two interruptions, small interruptions. But apart from that, the whole hour is yours. And we're going to be talking about why it is that 2.8 million of us, of you, because I'm not, are on long-term sickness, long-term sick. We're not talking about it from a benefits point of view. I'm talking about it from a point of view as why. And of that 2.8 million, only 641,000 have said that they want a job. So that tells me that there's a lot of skiving going on. Does it not tell you that? There must be skiving. But anyway, I'd like to hear from you. And maybe it's because of COVID and you're thinking, do you know what? I got off the merry-go-round and I quite like it not working. I don't care. I'll take a cut in money. I don't care. I'm not working. I'm not going back to work again. So I want to hear from you if that is the case. No judgment from it, because I really don't blame you. I don't want to work 5 days a week, which is why I don't. So a lot of people are saying, no, that working is for idiots, right? It's for fools, especially if you've got a boring job. I happen to like my job, but I still don't want to do it all the time. So give me a call. I'd love to hear from you on this. 0344 499 1000, and you can message me 87222, put the word talk up front and then your message. It comes through to me in the studio. Now though, a really hard worker, I've got to say, Josh Rom, entertainment journalist and host of the Sun's Awards Watch. You love your job too, don't you?
I do, but I also find it very funny when you said, oh, I don't work 5 days a week, when I specifically remember the last time I was here, you were doing 7 days in a row.
Oh, that's true. No, you're right, actually.
So we're all gluttons for punishment, aren't we?
Yeah, I do. And I am very lucky, and you're very lucky that we love what we do. But I always try and think of those people, the majority really, who don't love what they do.
And I will say, like, every time I come in here and do stuff with you, I just can't help but think what a privilege it is, and how lucky we are to be doing this. And actually, when there was a certain controversy on a certain other station happened a few months back, I couldn't help but think to myself, you know, when there was the whole thing about should they exist, whatever, and free speech, and I couldn't help but think to myself, you know, broadcasting to the British public, it is an immense privilege. And it comes back to the fact that with privilege comes responsibility, but again, emphasis on the privilege element and how lucky we are to be doing something like this.
Really lucky. But if I had to work in an office, I know that I'd be one of these 2.8 million. Just saying. Now let's talk briefly, because there's been a lot said about this, but the King's health.
Yes,
and
of course.
We still don't know what kind of cancer, do we?
No, in the Palace,
and we're unlikely to.
We're very unlikely to. The Palace, they've been as transparent as they can be. It's very clear that the family, when it comes to specific medical ailments, they don't want to give too many details away. We still don't even know the cause of Kate's planned abdominal surgery. We only know that it was a serious operation with an extended hospital stay. We don't know what condition she has. We don't know what cancer the King's has. I doubt we're going to know until further down the line. But of course, there were major events today. Prince Harry landing in the UK. We had that 45-minute audience with the King. The King then being driven from Clarence House to Buckingham Palace to then get the helicopter to Sandringham House on what's actually a very important day and a very poignant day for the royal family, because of course the 6th of February is the anniversary of the death of King George VI, and we always know he died of cancer. Again, very poignant, but we know that Her Majesty the Queen always took time out. She went to Sandringham on her own to reflect on the day, to remember her father. So once again, we're also seeing His Majesty the King flying out to Sandringham again. But also the messaging, despite his ailment, despite the conditions, he appeared in good health, waving to the crowds from the car, but again, continuing that tradition. Business as usual for the monarchy, despite what could be seen as an incredibly vulnerable time, because of course 2 very senior members, out of action.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing Princess Anne step up. We're hearing that Prince William is soon going to come back to take on this heavy burden.
And there's Edward and Sophie, isn't there, as well? They've been put on the list of people to replace the king.
Absolutely, but it just highlights with Prince Andrew and Prince Harry out of the picture, and with these senior members out of action, it just almost highlights the fact that the monarchy may or may not be in a vulnerable position at the time.
I mean, this won't be popular, but it may be too small now.
Yeah, we had the coronation the imaging of a slimmed down monarchy. Well, how much more slimmer can it be?
Yeah, exactly. They're now running into problems. But look, let's park that there for now. Whether Harry's here or not.
Happier news though.
Yeah,
happier news, because we've got
an
item full of exclusives.
Come on then.
First of all, I'm talking Madam Web. It's a new film about the 1980s character Cassie Webb from the Marvel universe. It stars Dakota Johnson in. She's of course best known for 50 Shades franchise, Black Mass, How to Be Single, The Social Network. This is a Sony Marvel film, not a Disney one, so it's set in the Spider-Man universe, what's been known in the film industry as the shared universe. But alongside Dakota Johnson, we've got double Golden Globe and BAFTA nominee Tahar Rahim. Now, you out there, you might be thinking, who's he? Well, if you saw The Mauritanian, which was one of the big award season films back in the pandemic, it starred Jodie Foster. Well, he had the lead role in that film alongside Jodie Foster. And he in this plays a villain called Ezekiel Sims. But when I spoke to him, he says, no, this is no ordinary Marvel villain.
What I did wasn't really like the way I built my characters usually. This time I was thinking of one thing, because I needed to be connected to this villain. And it was like, what would you do if you knew that somebody was trying to kill you? If you could see it to survive? And that's an interesting question that you can get connected to.
The Jeffrey Wright.
And in this Marvel universe, in this superhero world, I understand why he wants to save his life. You know, and psychologically, I found an answer.
Yeah. And also, we've seen the likes of Gemma Chan. She's played multiple parts within the Marvel universe. Do you think it's safe to say that you've got that Marvel bug now?
I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I'd like to. Yeah, of course, I'd like to explore more this character, of course, and the whole Marvel world, because it's cool, it's fun, and also for the young audience to be happy with this. I mean, I got 4 kids, right? And if I have to wait for them to be grown-ups to watch my movies, so it's good for them too. Yeah.
And just finally, you worked with Jodie Foster in The Mauritanian. You worked with the likes of Dakota Johnson here. I mean, how have these experiences been like for you as an actor?
It felt good, and each time you work with an important actor or a talented actor, you learn something, because it's like playing tennis. You know, you throw the ball, and they throw it back to you. Sometimes it's tennis, sometimes it's like dancing, and each time you learn something, because they're full of experience, and they're generous, and they're good. So you got to take what they throw to you.
Okay, so I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? These actors, I love the idea that they're learning from each other as they go.
It's brilliant, and what I liked most about his villain is this is actually a villain that you can look at him and you can look at the character and you can actually fully understand where this character is coming from and why he's doing it.
That's clever. That's a good bit of acting. Let's talk now about the Iron Claw.
Yes, so you might have seen this film advertised on buses, on billboards all over the country, and you might be thinking, well, what is this film? You see this hunky leading man Zac Efron on all of these billboards. Well, this is a film about the legendary Von Erich family of wrestling, and I will say this is an outrageously true story because it's got some real tragic elements. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's got a really good cast. It's got Lily James, who stars as the kind of romantic ingenue interest. It's got Harris Dickinson as well, who was in Maleficent important too. But the leading man is Mr. Zac Efron.
Does he sing and dance in it?
He does do a bit of dancing, actually.
Okay.
He's
got a when I saw in the
High School Musical franchise.
The Greatest Showman. I didn't watch the High School Musical franchise, but the Greatest Showman. Stunning. Shall we listen? You've got an interview here for us.
This is the thing. So I sat down with him and the film's director, Sean Durkin, and you asked with Zac, you said, like, does he sing and dance in this? Well, he's known for a certain type of character, and this is actually a rather different shift from Zac Efron. This is more of a transformative character, and I asked him, does he think he's kind of turned a corner in his career now?
In every aspect, this is the kind of role that you dream of. I think that, you know, a filmmaker like Sean and a true story about a guy like Kevin it just feels worthwhile. And there's no real way to go about like taking on a character like this without fully committing to it. And that kind of stuff is just incredibly satisfying. I don't know how else to put it. That's why I got started in acting in the first place. It has reignited something inside me that's, I think, been waiting to spark. So I'm very excited about the future.
Sean, how was it for you kind of working with this ensemble of cast in the ring, getting so physical? Were you ever worried about them?
It's nerve-wracking, you know. If any of your cast, you know, get injured, it's, you know, you have to rethink everything. So, but, you know, we just took care of everyone. You know, the other thing is that in wrestling, the person in the ring with you is there to take care of you. So there's this real teamwork.
We wanted to shoot this in a different. Sean was very focused on shooting this in a different way than I think we've seen wrestling shot on a film before, and just that notion was really was extra motivation for all of us. Like, we just took it to the next level.
The world knows about your injuries and stuff, and was there ever a moment where you were kind of scared taking on this role, being so physical, doing all these moves, that it would exacerbate your previous injuries or kind of bring it up again?
At this point, I've not suffered anything you know, that's like life-changing. I'm still young. I can bounce back. So I find it fun to push those limits, man. I really like the physical aspect of performing, and like combat, you know, dance, whatever it is. I think, you know, pushing it's where I feel the most comfortable, is kind of on the edge like that. So I enjoyed it.
You know, you stop worrying about it because everyone's on the same page. There's so much care. There's so much respect for the craft. And we were just careful, but also went for it, unafraid as well, you know, and I think that's like what you have to be with anything. And once you're shooting it, wrestling just becomes normal, and you kind of stop thinking about it as a separate thing. It's just what you're doing.
So that was the director of The Iron Claw talking there, and that is in cinemas from Friday the 9th of February.
Yes,
with Zac Efron.
Indeed, and actually I should say as well, Madam Web is in cinemas from Friday the 16th of February. But I thought what was really interesting about Zac Efron is because, of course, he had that famous incident where people remarked about his appearance, but actually he admitted that he shattered his jaw and he almost died. But yet here, speaking to me, he was like, no, I love all the physical stuff. I still want to go full throttle, full head first into any sort of action roles in the future. So a very interesting statement.
As if insurers are going to let him do that too often. Thank you so much, Josh. Absolutely brilliant. Josh Rom there, entertainment journalist and host of the Sun's Awards Watch. Thank you so much. Right, we're going to be looking at films next. We're going to be looking at the films you should be watching.